A lot of it is, being smart about your allocation, not going all in, limiting your losses. Nobody likes to take losses, but you got to limit your losses. You can't, you're going to be more than taking a massive losses. You're going to be focusing on that loser more than anything instead of focusing on the new ideas, some other names that may have come down 30, 40% that you're like, holy shit. Maybe you love Rivian here in 80s, which was whatever, 30, 40, 50, wherever it was.
Yeah.
Some of these, really good names that makes it Roblox Metaverse, one of the few companies that's actually has applications for the Metaverse where Nike signed up for them and that's come down. That is reporting, solid earnings and stuff like that. But, some of these names, you'll be focusing on new ideas instead of focusing on that one loser and going, why the hell is it down? I mean, a good example of this really quick is Under Armour. We recommend Under Armour. They blew out the quarter twice. We're down about 5% on our position. Amazing company. But if you look at all apparel makers on a whole, that industry was down 7% as on yesterday's low for the year. Apparel retailers, right? So it's not, you can't look at it and say, wow, Under Armour, what the hell happened? It's not that. It's, more sector related or industry related. But, those are the things that you're going to have to look at this year. It's different. There's fundamental things going on with the market, fundamental changes. It's a different landscape, rising interest rates, tighter monetary policy. It's going to take money out of the system. And you're seeing it. You're seeing it in certain stocks, certain sectors, but not everything's crashing. Some things are really, really doing well. And allocation is going to be a very, very big thing for this year and probably the next 18 months as the Fed is in this tightening cycle. But we wanted to talk about Bitcoin real quick because we saw that come down, a ton. But it was interesting there because it stopped at a certain level at around 39,000. And what's interesting to me is Novogratz, Mike Novogratz of Galaxy Digital. And this is when it was, I think it was 50, 47, 48. And he was on, he's been on CNBC a lot. They interview him and it's a good interview. Politics aside, I like the guy. But he said the interesting level is around 39, 38. And he was saying that's an interesting level because institutions want to come in. And sure enough, it hit that level and it ricocheted. It's up like 10%. It's like 43 to 44,000 right now. It's interesting that he knew those levels.
Yeah. I believe it's closer to 44 right now.
44, yeah.
43.
It's 43 to 44,
yeah. And it was somewhere around 38 or 39.
It's at 43, 470 to be exact.
I try not to be a cheerleader, but everybody knows that, and I talked about this more last week when I was filling in, Galaxy Digital is by far my biggest holding personally. I'm down on it because I had to start buying after we recommended it, which is fine. I like the long-term thing. Mike Novogratz, to your point, has to be one of the most well-connected guys. He's brilliant from the investment banking to bridge that crypto investment world, in my opinion. And yeah, he's talking to everybody. He knows what's out there, and it's encouraging to see the bounce. And who knows what could happen? That doesn't mean it couldn't turn around and go down further, but it is encouraging to know this is still early in the adoption stage, even though it's high in price. And it's great to see people step up and start buying. And I know people that are buying. I'll continue to add to certain positions. It's, hey, it's emotional. It's doing what we preach, and we'll see how that turns out. But the odds, the reasons that I'm still bullish on Bitcoin haven't changed, and lower prices being backed up by action by bigger money is great to see. Me still bullish, Frank.
I have to say that Novogratz, and there's a lot of people who are Bitcoin crazies out there that have been, in this thing for a very long time. I'm going to say that Novogratz is probably the most powerful person in Bitcoin. I may get some pushback on that, but I'm going to tell you why. Because through Galaxy Digital, that's where the institutions go. To learn about Bitcoin, to see what their allocation to Bitcoin is going to be, to understand how to do it. And that's why he knew at that level of 38, 39, 38, we could break through those levels, but he said it's an interesting level because Goldman Sachs goes to Galaxy Digital to trade futures. They trade their futures through Galaxy. Morgan Stanley, right? Those are the two biggest investment banks on the planet, right? Everybody goes to them when they're going to do the biggest deals in the world. Morgan Stanley's partnered with Galaxy to offer their clients access to their Bitcoin funds. They have partnerships with tons of institutions. This is where they go, where especially, when it comes to banking and everything else is, hey, let's go to Galaxy Digital. And that's why I said this company is more like the Goldman Sachs of Bitcoin. But the access that they have, when I say most powerful, I'm not saying that he's been in it the whole time, but the fact that there's the people he talks to has trillions in assets. They have to allocate money to alternative assets. They're looking at certain levels to do it and saying, hey, if this comes to this level, this is what we want to do. This is how much is going to be injected in it. That makes him an incredibly, incredibly one of the most powerful men in Bitcoin, whether you like it or not, because he's the one that's directing institutional capital right now. And that company's going to get bigger and bigger. He's got a good reputation in this space. Almost all the companies that I look at in crypto intelligence, Daniel, is whenever I look at their financings, or it seems like every good name that I'm looking at, Galaxy is on, and they're one of the early backers. And now you're seeing a bunch of venture capital get in it. But even for our token, if you want an investor, you want Galaxy. Galaxy has access to everything. It's almost like having Goldman Sachs as a partner, Morgan Stanley as a partner, and that power behind you. And they have that. So, when he was saying, well, 39, 38 is going to be a very interesting level, when it was at 50, 48, 47, to see as soon as it hit that level, bounce right off of it. Look, nice call. I'm not saying it can go lower, but there's tons of demand right now for Bitcoin from the institutional level. They were late to the party. It's a $2 trillion market. It's liquid. And most importantly, if you're looking at the hiring from JP Morgan to Wells Fargo to Citigroup to all these banking companies that used to hate, they're all hiring like crazy for crypto and crypto experts. They're going to build out these divisions because they have to, because their clients want it. They want alternative assets. I think more people understand what's going on with the dollar at a young age than ever. And when I was 25, I couldn't tell you anything about, the dollar or anything. Again, I was in the industry and stuff and stocks and stuff, but to hear this from mom and pop investors of how the dollar's getting destroyed, all this money printing and stuff like that, and the younger generation growing up in digital, 100% digital, just growing up in the streaming world, growing up in everything digital, Bitcoin is their currency. So this is here. This is going to happen. My prediction was always like, hey, this is going to 100,000. I didn't say this year. I didn't say next year. I said I know it's going to 100,000 probably over the next 3 years. When it does, the companies we have in this portfolio are going to do great. A lot of them have done great. And now they've come down. We're going to be adding to these positions in our next news, which is going out probably around Friday. It's supposed to go out last week. I was at CES. I met with a couple of companies in the industry. But, Bitcoin, I'm bullish than ever. These conditions, what's going on right now, is very, very bullish for Bitcoin. You might say, well, higher rates, not too good for gold. The negative real interest rate when you account for inflation is well into the negative. That's why gold is going higher now. I think gold's going to have a great year. And I think Bitcoin is providing an unbelievable opportunity for you to buy it down at these levels.
Well said. It's an exciting story with Galaxy Digital. One last point. It's great. It's a great opportunity in the present to invest in a business mindset that I believe has many ways to win. You've covered those, from venture capitalists to everything else, connectivity. And if you believe in that, you can either recommend it as we've done and invest in it. And if not, no big deal. But yeah, it's great to take advantage of this as it unfolds from an investing standpoint in a business over time as the adoption kicks in. And it'll be exciting. And let's hope we're right.